Welcome back, everybody. My name is Todd Ronan from the Reality Forecast Show, and I'm joined with Liz Cross. And there's been quite a hub and buzz on the internet about this Afghanistan vet who came forward and said that the United States military has crashed saucer debris and remains of pilots of those crashed saucers. And I wondered if we could look into his mind and figure out if he's telling the truth or if he's yanking our chain. How are you, Liz?
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't heard of this.
His name is David Charles Grush, and he was interviewed, I think, yesterday or a couple of days ago, and said that there are a lot of, they're rebranding to UAP now, but pilots up in the sky have seen a lot of different craft. And his contention is that the United States has these craft, and I can, as a remote viewer, tell you that it's true, but let's see what he knows.
Okay, yeah, great. What would you like to know?
Did he have direct contact with any of these debris from crashed UAPs or UFOs?
Did you have any direct contact with UFOs or UFOs? He believes so, yes.
Is he producing this data based on things that he has heard from his, I don't know, friends in high places?
No, things that he has seen.
And what was his capacity to be in contact with these pieces of debris?
So I don't know what his role was exactly in Afghanistan, but I want you to know he has PTSD. And he has seen things, and he can't see when you have severe PTSD, as we uncovered yesterday. You see how everything is synchronous? When you have severe PTSD, your brain has a lot of trouble trying to organize what is seen. And at the point of, him seeing these things, it's kind of really chaotic inside the brain. So the brain is so damaged with PTSD that it cannot process things accurately.
And so did he really have physical contact with debris from a crashed saucer that was of non-Earth origin?
Did you really have contact with those? No.
Because to me, a layperson who knows a lot about military projects that are clandestine, it's easy to be confused and think that this tech is off-world tech.
And that's what is going on, right? He has brain trauma.
And so are the people listening to him and giving him pulpit feeding into this frenzy that he has created for different reasons than letting out the truth?
Well, they believe that this is the truth. The people that are giving him time and airspace, as in on the airwaves, not as in like in space in a UFO craft, but they're giving him this, they do believe him.
He claims to have, well, maybe not direct knowledge, but also alien bodies or body fragments. Did he have any direct connection or interaction with non-human corpses?
Yes, he believes so. I want you to know, though, he has seen a lot of death and destruction And when you're faced with looking at scenes of dead bodies and destruction on the level that he has seen, in order to put yourself in a survival mode, it's almost like your consciousness has to separate and say, this isn't real. This is just, these are aliens, or these aren't real human beings lying on the ground. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Right. You have to create a fantasy in order to process it acceptably.
He needs some PTSD help. He really does.
And I don't know that he knows that he has suffered from PTSD.
No.
Are the stories that he's confabulating? Does he? Well, when we ask this question, we're going along the assumption of what it is that he knows to be true. And so we can't really get to the truth as to whether or not he did interact with alien bodies, because we're only connecting with his conscious mind as he believes it now, right?
Right. And the problem is, you and you've done remote viewing. Look, I don't know what you found on your remote viewing, but I know that aliens are so advanced that they actually don't need bodies. I mean, they can have bodies if they want them, but it's not necessary. Would you agree with that?
Some.
Certainly the ones that I have probed, and therefore they can play with energy. So if they want to have a spaceship energetically, they can design a spaceship. This goes along the lines of something that I got the other week, pre-flu, with regards to cracking the code of manifestation. When you're able to use your full brain capacity, right? Because we only use a very small portion of our brain. So when you use a full capacity of your brain, see, they don't even have a brain. So they're not limited by brain capacity. And when you're not limited by brain capacity in that way, you can create whatever you want. You can manifest whatever you want. So if they say, okay, I need a really large spaceship that can be seen, and I want to, fly over a certain part of the world and lots of people see, they can do that. I don't know why. Certainly in my investigations, and this is going to be extremely unpopular, you understand that, because there's some psychics out there that are giving readings, and they're reading off the same script, and they're telling everybody they're a Palladian and a star seed. And then these people come through to me for readings, and they're reading the same script that everybody else that's gone to these same psychics. I mean, these people are charlatans that are telling you, you're a Palladian, you're this, you're that. That's total misinformation. You've been duped by people that are trying to make money. They don't have to exist in a physical body. They're so much more advanced. Maybe they do sometimes for our own benefit, but it's not necessary.
Well, what about people that have claimed to have an abduction experience? I've remote viewed several people who've come to me trying to get to the bottom of it. And we encounter, well, I'll explain what we get. We encounter both physical and non-physical components of that abduction experience.
Okay.
And there are some extraterrestrials who I won't name that can create a facsimile of like your room that you sleep in. Yep. And so they create this hologram of the room that you're in and then can interact with you, but it's not physical. It's a non-physical interaction. And so when we look at that, we have to look deeper than just the physical interactions, because it requires a lot more work, a lot more dedication, a lot more understanding of the technology or non-physical technology that some of these advanced species possess.
Exactly. Right? So the abductions are conscious mind abductions, not on a physical level. And exactly as you say, they can create whatever they want. So if they create a room and maybe they're creating a holographic body for your consciousness to fit in so that you feel comfortable, and when they're abducting that consciousness and taking it wherever they want it to go. That's why a lot of abductions happen during sleep. It's always, I was abducted in my sleep, or most of the time, because that's when your brain waves are lowered, right? That's when your consciousness is much easier to extract from the body and take it wherever they want to go. Listen, aliens, people messing around with aliens, you're playing a dangerous game. You guys have got to be careful. Those aliens are so exceptionally powerful. We are nothing compared to the power that they have. Can you go and abduct somebody's consciousness, Ronan? I mean, no, of course
Well,
not.
no.
And why would you want to? That is really dark to me, abducting somebody's consciousness. And that's exactly what goes on. So you're exactly right.
There's a lot more to dig into with regards to this UAP and UFO situation, but I did want to touch on this briefly just to learn more about this guy, David Grush. And we hope that we're not saying what he is reporting on is not real. We're just saying that he is playing a very important part of the program. And I will say that the military experiments a lot on its own in psychological conditioning. And so for them to present these ideas to David Grush, it's forwarding their own agenda in a way that some people in the military are satisfied with.
Exactly. The military, especially the Russian military, are masters at psychological warfare. And a lot of times people have to disassociate from what they're really seeing in order to not fall apart. Think about the conditions that these guys are under, and ladies. They're going into war zones. They're seeing all of this. He saw a lot of death, and he had to disassociate from what he was seeing at that moment because he's still under attack, right? He could be under attack at any given moment, and he wants to survive. Most of us that see this level of death and destruction would just fall apart, right? We would just drop to our knees, and that would be it. We would, we can't move forward. But somehow he has disassociated this, saying, wait, this isn't real. And that's how he has dealt with it. Unfortunately, that PTSD has still caused this disassociation. And what he's actually doing is he's trying to come out and get confirmation from other people that now what he believes he saw was real, when in actual fact he needs some serious PTSD treatment. And so that's what's going on. It's like a confirmation. And if that's what he needs in order to move forward, then that's fine, because he's sort of saying it in his little circles that he's in, and people are like, yeah, no. So now he's seeking that validation from outside of those circles. And of course, by putting out information like this, you got all these people. I mean, I do a show once a month, a live show with all these poor people that have gone to the same psychic and they think they're Palladians. I mean, I want to know which planet I'm from or which, and I'm like, guys, you're cut from source. You have a soul. Aliens are not operating within the realm of source. Okay, they don't, that I can find. And I don't know if you found, Ronan, but I can't find any of them to possess a soul.
We'll dig more deeply into extraterrestrial topics on a different show. I did want to say to everybody listening and those of you that have served, we sincerely appreciate your sacrifice and the efforts that you go to, and want to let you know that we do appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. By all means, hands down. Yes.
Thank you very much, Liz. And thanks everybody for listening. If you like this, please share, subscribe, and send it to a friend. And don't always believe everything that you hear, because it might serve an agenda that's not always apparent.
Absolutely.